A powerful thunderstorm blasted through Edmonton Friday evening, leaving behind downed trees, road closures, and power outages. Inglewood, Garneau, Glenora, Balwin, Abbottsfield and Alberta Avenue were just some neighborhoods affected by the outage. Weather is listed as the cause for several of those outages by the power company. EPCOR's Power Outages website said power will be restored to those neighborhoods later Friday night and early Saturday morning. A spokesperson for the Edmonton Police Service said the storm has caused several road closures along Yellowhead Trail because of flooding. Police are also asking Edmontonians to avoid calling the non-emergency complaint line unless the matter is urgent, as police respond to calls related to the recent storm. The storm came after Environment Canada issued several tornado and thunderstorm warnings around Edmonton earlier that day. A brief tornado warning was issued at 5:34 p.m. for parts of Parkland and Yellowhead counties. The alert lifted for Parkland County at 5:49 p.m. and Yellowhead County at 6:27 p.m. The tornado warnings were one of several issued by Environment Canada during the past 3 days. One of those tornadoes touched down in Dilberry Lake Provincial Park Wednesday evening, sending 3 people to the hospital. An Environment Canada meteorologist told CBC News that Alberta can expect more tornado-related activity in the next 6 weeks. Radar the evening of July 10th showed the storm's heaviest core over St. Albert and pushing east toward Edmonton, with heavy returns stretching back through Spruce Grove and Stony Plain to the west and up toward Morinville to the north. Environment Canada warns the strongest cells can bring large hail, damaging winds, and torrential rain, with an isolated tornado not ruled out. The cells are moving fast, so warnings are being issued and expiring within the hour. The most reliable thing you can do tonight is check the alert for your own community. The storm is hitting the western and northern parts of the Edmonton region hardest as it tracks through. St. Albert took the most intense part of the core: heavy rain, the highest hail risk, and the strongest wind. Spruce Grove and Stony Plain, just west, sat in the line of the storm as it moved through. Morinville, to the north, fell under the heavier returns too. The city of Edmonton, along with Sherwood Park and the rest of the metro to the east, is next in the storm's path as it moves that way. If you're in any of these communities, this is the window to get inside. Move vehicles under cover if you can, and keep your phone close for alerts. The main threats are large hail and strong winds. In the strongest cells, Environment Canada and forecasters have flagged hail up to golf ball size and wind gusts that can reach 100 kilometers per hour, enough to crack windshields, dent vehicles, damage roofs and trees, and knock out power. Meanwhile, the City of Edmonton Transportation Department, in tandem with the Edmonton Police Service, has enacted emergency closures across dozens of critical transit corridors. Closed entirely in both directions, between 66th Street and 121 Street. Multiple underpasses along this vital commercial trucking route are completely submerged, with water levels reaching the roofs of stranded vehicles. Severe pooling has reduced traffic to a single lane near 51 Avenue, causing massive gridlock stretching back toward the city limits. Extreme localized flooding has been reported at the Kenilworth underpass, forcing police to divert traffic onto secondary residential roadways that are already congested. 97th Street northbound and southbound closed completely between 111 Avenue and 118 Avenue. The closure was necessitated not only by deep standing water, but also by dozens of mature trees that were uprooted by high winds, taking down active power lines with them. The city's public transit network has suffered cascading failures. The Edmonton Light Rail Transit, LRT system, experienced significant service disruptions along both the Capital and Metro lines after water breached underground electrical vaults and flooded street-level tracks in the downtown core. The Edmonton Transit Service, ETS, has deployed replacement shuttle buses where possible, though these vehicles are facing the same severe traffic delays as general motorists.
Look how deep the water is.
EPCOR Edmonton, the city's primary utility provider, reported that over 25,000 customers were plunged into darkness during the height of the storm. High winds and falling branches severed distribution lines across central and northern neighborhoods. while localized flooding compromised several electrical substations. Specialized utility crews have been working around the clock, prioritizing life safety facilities such as hospitals and water treatment plants before tackling residential outages. The sheer volume of water entering the civil network has put immense pressure on Edmonton's drainage infrastructure. EPCOR, which manages the city's water, wastewater, and stormwater systems, noted that certain subterranean trunk lines experienced internal pressures far exceeding their engineered thresholds. In several older neighborhoods, including Macaulay, Alberta Avenue, and parts of Strathcona, the intense pressure within the storm sewers caused heavy iron manhole covers to be blown entirely out of the asphalt. Rushing water erupted from the ground like geysers, creating severe hazards for drivers and pedestrians who could not see the missing covers beneath the murky floodwaters. A major sinkhole opened up in the Westmount area, swallowing a parked delivery van and forcing the immediate evacuation of nearby commercial storefronts due to fears of structural instability. The City of Edmonton formally activated its Emergency Operations Center, EOC, to streamline communication and resource deployment among police, fire, rescue, transit, and utility teams. Edmonton Fire Rescue Services, EFRS, reported responding to over 150 water-related rescue calls in a 12-hour window. Firefighters utilizing specialized inflatable Zodiac boats were deployed to extract motorists who had become trapped on the roofs of their cars in deep underpasses. Crews responded to dozens of calls regarding flooded residential basements where electrical panels were sparking, presenting immediate fire and electrocution hazards. Meanwhile, Environment Canada meteorologist Julienne Corazot said 5 people were injured. Vanessa Gomez, spokesperson for Acute Care Alberta, said 3 adults were taken to hospital, 1 in life-threatening condition. The first tornado was reported southwest of Paradise Valley, about 40 minutes south of Lloydminster. It prompted a critical Alberta emergency alert to be issued for the area, just before 7:30 p.m., warning of a possible tornado. It was updated about 10 minutes later to say Environment Canada meteorologists were tracking a severe thunderstorm that is producing a tornado. The emergency alert warned of a very dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. Corazot said, "So far, there are no reports of damage from the first tornado." However, a second tornado touched down about half an hour later at the Dilberry Lake Provincial Campground, located about 75 kilometers east of Paradise Valley and just southeast of Chauvin, Alberta. In a post on social media, the Municipal District of Wainwright said emergency responders were on scene and the public was being asked to avoid the area. The RCMP said the campground was evacuated and everyone had been accounted for, but Environment Canada said 5 people were injured and there was significant damage to trailers, with some being completely destroyed. Chris Robinson had been at a Dilberry campsite with his family Wednesday evening when an initial emergency alert indicated a tornado in the area, he said. But it was farther north, where the sky had quickly turned black and the clouds started rumbling. He said there was nonstop thunder for a long period before the storm hit, even though it was still sunny at their campsite. They were playing cards before another emergency alert came in. "I saw a massive funnel cloud appear, then disappear just off to the west of us," he said in a Facebook message. "That's when they decided to get away from the area," he said. "As we were leaving our campsite, we could see the funnel cloud reforming and getting larger, still just west of us. By the time we made it to the main entry road by the park shack, the tornado had touched down and was right in front of us, coming toward us along the entry road. Then came heavy rain and hail hitting their truck," he said, "and trees started falling. So they turned around." "It all happened so fast," said Robinson. "I was prepared to drive through a fence if we needed to escape the area, as there was limited options for safe shelter out there," he added. They parked by some trees, then returned to the campground. They saw damaged cabins and flattened trees, he said, as well as overturned and destroyed trailers. They helped other campers until emergency responders arrived, then packed up to go home. Mike Wildbohr, Reeve of the Municipal District of Wainwright, expressed relief that there was no loss of life. Our thoughts are with those affected and with everyone working through the aftermath of this event, he said. The Alberta emergency alert was canceled shortly before 9 p.m., Wednesday after the storm system moved east into Saskatchewan. The Dilberry Lake campground has about 40 sites, but a notice posted on its website says it is closed until further notice to ensure public safety while we assess tornado damage. Researchers from the Northern Tornadoes Project are also deploying a team to the area to investigate. With at least 2 more tornadoes touching down in Alberta this week, the total number of tornadoes in the province so far this year rises T023, making it an exceptionally busy tornado season, according to Dave Sills, director of the Northern Tornadoes Project, based out of Western University in London, Ontario. Across the 3 prairie provinces, there have been 48 tornadoes so far this year. The annual average, based on a 30-year data set, is 34, said Sills. So we're well ahead of the annual average. The months of June, July, and August are the most active period for tornadoes in Western Canada, despite the tornado that ripped through Dilberry Lake Provincial Park earlier this week, leaving a trail of destroyed camping trailers and cabins, ripped up trees, and other damage in its wake. Sills said that so far, Alberta's tornadoes haven't been any more severe than normal. We've had tornado strengths going from the default EF0, so didn't hit anything, but we assume it's at least 90 kilometers per hour to an EF2. That's fairly typical of what we see every year, Sills added. In Manitoba and Saskatchewan, there have been 2 EF3 tornadoes, and that is a bit rare to have 2 tornadoes that are EF3 in one season. And we're only halfway through the season. Hopefully, we won't see more of those. When you get to EF3, you're talking about houses being destroyed. Environment Canada uses the enhanced Fujita scale to measure the wind damage from a tornado. It ranges from an EF0, with a wind speed between 90 and 130 kilometers per hour, to an EF5, with a wind speed of 315 kilometers or more per hour. Environment Canada meteorologist Brian Proctor told Global News that the reasons why there have been so many tornadoes this year are a perfect concoction of ingredients. If we think about the kind of spring we've had in this early part of summer across the southern part of the prairies, it has been really unsettled, is probably the best way to word it, Proctor said.
Oh my god.
We just need to get home. We just need to get home. I'm sending you some more.